Hi, thank you so much for purchasing one of our Sparrow desks. My name is Asher Fraley from Fraley Woodworks, and my dad James and we're going to show you all how to unbox it and assemble it in your living room. So it should come like this. It's going to weigh about 80 pounds, maybe a little bit less than that, but kind of around there. So it's a pretty heavy box. You'll lift off the top section. This is after removing any kind of tape or anything like that, which of course it'll have. And the packaging of your Sparrow desk might look slightly different than this, but all of the components and the parts are going to be arranged in a similar way. So you'll remove any kind of padding or foam or packaging materials, put that to the side. This open cell foam here, or closed cell foam actually, we would recommend keeping, and you're going to probably lay this down. It's going to be useful during the assembly of the desk. Now when you open it, you're going to have your desk surface here. We'll have put this in one of the drawers, but you'll take this out. This is going to contain your hardware and your 4mm hex wrench, which will be used for the assembly of all the different connectors of the desk. Now I've got two people here because we recommend, since this is solid wood, it's pretty heavy, that you don't try to do it as a one-person job. You probably can, but we would just recommend doing it with two people. So James and I are going to lift this guy up and out. And we're just going to take it over here and set it down temporarily. We'll revisit this later. Right now, we're just going to get all of our parts out of the packaging. So we got another piece of closed cell foam here. Going to set this to the side as well. And then here are our legs. And so we got two legs that are bundled up together in here. We're going to take these out. We're going to open this up. Separate the padding in between them. And these three parts, the desk body here and the two legs, represent all of the parts, the wood parts that are going to be needed to assemble the desk. Now I'm going to take the legs and just set these to the side for the time being, making really good care to not set them down hard or aggressively or anything like that. You want to protect that nice pristine finish and not get any scratches on it. Now we got some wrapping to take off of our desk surface here. Going to take this off and I'll show you kind of what we've got here. So these two drawers, these are just kind of laid in their respective cavities in the outside. So these can be gently taken out and just set to the side. And then lastly, here is the brass block that's put in. It's just going to ship in place. You'll take off the piece of tape holding it down. And then if you reach underneath the shelf, you'll feel that the brass block kind of protrudes out the bottom. You can press up to wedge it out and it'll pop right out. We'll just set that to the side as well for the time being. Now, we need some blocks, which we're actually going to take from our packaging here. So I'm going to take two pieces of this foam, set it down approximate spacing like that. And then with the two people, you're going to take the shelf or the body of the desk and put it on its back like so. We do this because this is how we're going to attach the legs to the desk, and we need to have it lifted off the ground because the back side of the legs protrudes past the back side of the desk body. So once we got that, we can come over here. We're going to open up our hardware kit. Here is our 4mm hex wrench. And then inside we should have a few parts. Let me kind of walk you through these. So we have 4 of these smaller dominoes. And then we have 6 larger ones. And then 6 connector bolts. Half of these are going to go with one side, and then the other half are going to go with the other legs on the other side. We're going to take our legs here. Let me go ahead and hand one of these over, and I'll just show you on this one here what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my 3 large dominoes, and they're going to go right in these 3 slots here. You'll see that they'll fit in these, but they won't fit in these small ones up here. So I'm just going to press fit these in. These don't do anything structurally. Their only purpose is for alignment. So they just need to get a nice friction fit in. And then I'm going to take my 2 small dominoes, and I'm not going to put them in here because these have a little bit of play for them to go back and forth. Instead, I'm going to come over to our shelf and just press these in up here. These might be a bit of more of a snug fit, so if you have to use like a hammer or something like that, you can gently, very gently tap them in, but you should be able to just press them in with your thumb. Okay, here's the real magic. I'm going to take the leg, I'm going to come over, and if you kind of look right down the end, you're going to see the various points of alignment. So I can see I just slid in to this tenon here on the top, or the tenon went into the mortise. Let's see. And there we go. We might have actually needed a couple pieces of padding on the bottom. There should be plenty of this foam padding here, so you can just take in, if you need more height, you can lift it up a little bit, and you should be able to get all of the height you need. So there we go. Now it's wedged on, but it's not connected yet. So next, I'm going to take our three of our connector bolts, and they're going to go in these 3 holes here, 1 in the back and 2 in the front. I'm just going to slide that in. Now this is a ball nose hex wrench, so it doesn't have to go exactly parallel or in line with the bolt. I can kind of lean it out and angle it. I'm going to spin it around until it connects to the threaded insert, and then I can just spin that around. I can tell it started there. Now it can go a little bit further, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the other ones. I'm going to get all 3 of these kind of snugged up and then come back and tighten them individually. Yeah, if it's hard to start it, don't force it in. It'll definitely become smooth once it's in the correct, once the threads are correctly aligned. Okay, I'm going to come back down to this one down here. And you'll see that gap tighten up right there. I'm not going to over tighten these. This is very important. These just have to be nicely snugged up. You don't need to over torque it. You'll run the risk of breaking off the heads of those connectors. So don't over torque them. Then lastly, I'm going to come in, and there's a hole right here which leads to a connection point on the underside of the shelf. Now, this wrench is really long for this particular connection point. It's going to go most of the way in. And then if you actually come over here and you look down from the top, here's my wrench. It's going to come through and it's going to meet, let's see, where is it? Got to kind of wiggle it around, meet a corresponding hole on the underside of the shelf. And I'm going to turn that 90 degrees clockwise, and that's going to tighten it up. Slide that out, and you good here? Do you want to tighten those? We're going to do the same thing over here on this leg. James has already put in all the dominoes, so it's already kind of locked in place. We're just going to come back tighten these all up. So it's just sliding really smooth right now on those threads. That's what you want. It should not be very difficult. There we go. Once I start hearing that kind of creaking noise, that's telling me that it's really as tight as it can be. I'm going to put the hex wrench again in here, get that in line with that connection point, and then just a 90 degrees clockwise turn. It won't turn any further, so don't try to over torque it. Now we're going to take the assembly, put it on its feet, and we only have 2 more connection points. And those are going to be here in the back. On the end here, you're going to have 4 slots down here. These are your kind of slots for putting like a Velcro strip through to attach cables that come out the back. But these holes here on the very far ends, these are going to be what we want. So there's another connection, connector right in here. We're just going to take our hex wrench and just a 90-degree clockwise turn, just like that. Do that on both sides. There we go. Last but not least, we're just going to put in our removables. You should have 3 parts here, 1 brass block, and then 2 drawers. These are just going to slide right in, just like so. And then the block here, I'd recommend doing this once you put your cords in. You can kind of arrange them how you want. If you don't want the brass block, that's why it's removable. It can just come right out. But if you do put your cords in and they go to one side or the other and you want to just keep them nicely separated, you can just put this in. It might be kind of a little bit of a wedge fit. You'll just press it right down on in. And there we go. The Sparrow desk is fully assembled and ready for use. We did it with 2 people. You might be able to do it with 1. We probably just, since it's a very high quality piece of furniture and we want it to last for generations in your home, we'd recommend assembling it with 2 people just to give it the extra care that it deserves. But yeah, it's been a pleasure building this for you. We hope it serves you and your family well for many generations.